Why does chlorine turn damp litmus paper red and then white? Many students memorize this as a guess test, but if you understand why both color changes happen, it becomes much easier to remember. So let's make sense of the chlorine test properly. The test for chlorine gas is to use damp blue litmus paper. If chlorine is present, the paper first turns red and then it is bleached white. That is the key observation you need to know. Now, here is the first important detail. The litmus paper must be damp because chlorine needs to dissolve in water first. If the paper is dry, chlorine cannot react properly on the paper, so the test does not work clearly. So the word damp is essential. It is not just extra detail. When chlorine dissolves in the water on the damp litmus paper, it forms hydrochloric acid and hypochlorous acid. These products explain the two-stage observation. Hydrochloric acid helps make the solution acidic, while hypochlorous acid is the substance responsible for bleaching. The paper turns red first because an acidic solution is formed. Blue litmus responds quickly to acidity, so the first visible change is that blue litmus turns red. This is not because one product has a smaller relative molecular mass and diffuses faster. It is because the indicator responds quickly to the acidic conditions. After that, the paper turns white because hypochlorous acid bleaches the dye in the litmus paper. This is different from a simple indicator color change. Bleaching means the colored dye molecules are chemically changed, so the color disappears. That is why the paper goes from red to white. As an extra note, if damp red litmus paper were used instead, you would mainly observe the bleaching effect, so it would turn white. But damp blue litmus paper is better for teaching and for exam answers because it shows both parts of the process more clearly. First red, then white. A common mistake is to write just litmus paper. But a better and more complete answer is damp blue litmus paper. Because that tells the examiner you understand the test properly. It also reminds you that water is needed for chlorine to dissolve and react. So the full idea is this. To test for chlorine gas, use damp blue litmus paper. The paper first turns red because chlorine dissolves in water and forms an acidic solution. Then it turns white because hypochlorous acid bleaches the dye. Reason: acidic first, then bleaching. Once you understand those two steps, the chlorine test is no longer just a fact to memorize.